celebrating our return to the podcasting airwaves, Shoedogg and Mike. It's been about a year, but we figured this shit out, and to celebrate it, Mike is pouring some shots as we begin here, because in the world of podcasting, afternoon drinking is not only acceptable, my friends, it is encouraged.
Yeah, but I'm not just pouring any shots now.
Please explain what that delicious brownish tan liquor is.
So, I can't quite remember if you've had this or not when you were here before. Yes, no, maybe so.
Conceivably. If so, I probably enjoyed it enough. I don't remember.
I feel like you'd remember. But anyway, it is Basil Hayden's, which is just, really good bourbon. That's all.
All right.
It's fucking yummy. And I just want to say it's awesome to be doing this. So,
happy 2019, everybody.
I will toast to you on that. Ooh.
So there we go.
So smooth.
On that note, welcome everybody. It is Shoedogg and Mike's. We're going to call it the belated holiday spectacular. Belated because not only are the holidays a little bit past us, but belated because we haven't done a show in about a year. But by God, we're back, and we have New Year's resolutions. And my New Year's resolution is we're going to have a show out there every month, at least this year, at least once a month,
yes,
right, Mike?
Sir. Yes,
it's
sir.
going to happen.
It's time to give the people what they don't even know they want. Let me just say,
they will know they want it soon enough.
In case whether we do another one or we don't, I just want to say before I forget that is just such fucking good bourbon.
It was smooth as hell. Now what that is right there is that is step one of an endorsement. Once we have hundreds of thousands of listeners, they're going to send us that shit free by the case, buddy.
I'm sure that plenty of people have tried to get into the front pocket of Basil Hayden's and probably to no avail.
Do you think in my decade and a half in the radio business that I don't know how to swindle deals and finagle trades with people for mentions? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that illegal? Sorry, FCC doesn't control podcasts.
You know what? I'll go ahead and put you right on that assignment then.
What?
Get to it and report back to me.
Saying fuck the FCC?
No, just...
Well, actually, the FCC's not working at the moment. Am I correct about that?
So that's the last one. Would you like me to pour you something different?
I'm fine. I will sip on this Golden Monkey.
Okay. Well, anyway, man, cheers to being back on it.
Super cheers.
Cheers to, like you said, almost hitting the 1 year mark, but not quite. Because I think the one that I found on my computer was like the end of March from last year. Does that sound right to you?
Probably.
Episode 2? Or as you're now calling it, episode non-existent.
That's right. I think we really, that doesn't count. We're calling this the reboot.
Hey, we can reboot. Everybody else is doing it.
That's right. And in the movie world, a year apart is often enough to reboot. Dude, there have been 3 Spider-Man reboots in the last 15 years.
Do you mean separate times that they restarted the whole franchise?
Yeah, because
you're including Into the Spider-Verse with that, right?
No, I'm including the Tobey Maguire trilogy. Okay. I'm including the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and then now the 3rd reboot with Homecoming.
You know what? That's because I totally skipped the Amazing Spider-Man series. I don't think I saw any of those.
They had Dennis Leary in them, at least the first one did. It was pretty good.
Well, listen.
He played Mary Jane's uncle. He was a cop.
How come you weren't all over that? Did you see Leary's in Spider-Man?
Leary's
I would have expected you to be shooting up a Dennis Leary flare from your backyard. I found a movie with Leary in it.
That is kind of surprising when you think about it. Well, I think around about the time that happened, I was still living in the aural glow of having met him. Not the oral glow, mind you, the aural glow of having met him.
I mean, they're both related, but one's better than the other, I'm sure.
All right, so... So, here's some shocking news. Here we are 4 minutes into the show, and we had something resembling a format, and we've already just thrown that out the window.
No, we're good, but what did you forget today?
Well, no, we're
down. We're down how long officially? 9 months? No. 9.5 months. Maybe 10 months, right?
Huh?
Since we were last doing this together.
Okay.
Right?
Well, hold on. I know where you're going, but let's go back to where we started.
Okay.
We cannot call this a holiday spectacular, belated, if there's no discussion of the holidays, which, as we record this show, we both still have our Christmas trees up. And you might be listening to this in March, and there might be a chance I still have my Christmas tree up. Anything's possible. But there's a poinsettia sitting here.
Well, your tree doesn't drink water.
No, it doesn't.
So you got that going for you.
I gave in and went to
lazy bastard. You could leave that thing up until next Christmas.
You can't see that my head is legitimately hung in shame at the moment. I didn't think we were going to be Christmas tree shaming here. I was just making banal conversation, Mike.
Listen, you leave it. you do what you want with your tree. I'm sure you could have a hashtag trending.
At least we're going to do better than our one friend, we won't name names, who kept his Christmas tree up until the following October to where it was a brown fire hazard in his apartment.
Did you ever see that Bob's Burgers episode where they put the tree up the day after Halloween and then it dies, so Bob has to he goes to get another one, and then that one dies on Christmas Eve, and so that the episode is them driving around on Christmas Eve in a fucking snowstorm trying to find a tree.
That is vintage Bob's Burgers.
Did you see that one?
No, but I think you've told me about it before. I have to check that one out. Now that is a beloved show.
It's funny as shit.
In your world, I mean, part of the reason we've had this lengthy delay, which is what I think you were trying to get at before.
Yeah.
You've had a busy year, huh? This is your first Christmas as a married man.
Yep. I threw the old iron clasp on my ring finger here back in June, and easiest decision I ever made. All bullshit aside, but it also, means that you're guaranteed the married perspective, so that's good. It makes me a more
That's right. It levels
demographic. I'm a demographic now.
It levels the conversation out, because I can assure you I will never be the one giving the married perspective.
Hey. You can always. It's never too late to make a bad decision. Just join a business arrangement.
I'm always amazed by the guys who bitch about women, and you're like, I've been married 5 times. Women are all this, that, and the other, and it's like, dude, maybe it's you,
or maybe
maybe you're the one who's just not built out for this
Well,
marriage
I'll
thing.
say the thing I learned along the way is it's not for everybody.
That's right.
In the last few months leading up to when we actually got married, and we were like in the course of trying to make all these crazy ideas come together in one place at one time, that was when it dawned on me that like this is not something that just any two people can commit to and do and go through with and then stick with it, stick the landing, however you want to put it.
Well, and
it was fucking hard as shit. People are not honest about that.
Well, and that's the problem, though, is so many people get married, whether it's due to having children or figuring it's you're supposed to get married, and they're the people that are destined for divorce. If they're getting married just because for some fashion, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, dude, it's definitely a business decision for some people, but like I said, for me...
You're right, it's an arrangement.
For me, it was super easy to make that decision, and yeah, it's been fucking busy as shit ever since then. Going all the way back, like a year. But, to your point, when you can't even squeeze a podcast in... that's too busy, so I'm glad we pumped the brakes a little bit and we got back together and have time to shoot the shit here.
Well, that's right. And you know what? I am blowing up the format here because I'm going to jump ahead to something I want to talk about later. But since we're talking about marriages, I believe now is the time. Are you aware of probably the highest priced divorce in history currently underway, Mike?
Oh, you mean Bezos?
$137 billion on the line between
Holy
Jeff
shit.
and Mackenzie Bezos. No prenup.
Well,
Bitch is getting half.
I gotta tell you.
Wow. 25 years together, though. So she was married to the guy before he was Actually, she would have married him right around the time he was probably swimming in red ink. Like, I've got this idea for the internet. We're going to sell books. It'll be huge.
Imagine.
Little did he know, man. Biggest fucking retailer on the planet. Second business. Second biggest.
Even still, imagine.
Can you name the biggest retailer on the earth?
On the
earth? It's not Amazon.
Retailer in general? Like just of all goods?
Online, brick and mortar or other. There is a company that has bigger retail sales than Amazon.
Bigger retail sales than Amazon.
Well, I don't mean retail again to mean in the store, but bigger sales volume than Amazon.
I don't know. Probably some obscure shit.
Alibaba.
Right.
The Chinese equivalent of
Okay.
Amazon. Which, to be completely honest, that surprises me because I didn't think anyone in China had any money to spend, but somehow Alibaba has managed to take it up a few notches and bring in the bacon for Mr. Alibaba.
Yeah, you blew my mind open with this whole revelation that there's this other world out there that we don't account for. Because we're dumb white people, and we live in our little bubble, right?
No, but I mean...
Everybody just hears Amazon, and they're like, oh yeah. It's like when you hear the word Walmart. Like, at some point, I'm sure Walmart's not going to be performing as well as some of its competition for a stretch of time. And it's unlikely that even then, people start shitting on Walmart.
Well, no, but it's just that Americans have disposable income at an infinitely larger amount than Chinese, so you wouldn't think the Chinese economy would support such a huge business.
So in other words, Alibaba operates like on its own separate kind of laws and terms from Amazon then? Because it's a different government and shit?
I suppose. Who knows what kind of sanctions exist on Chinese retail sales and whatnot. Okay. How much taxes people pay or this or that, or what shipping costs.
Well, one way or the other.
One way or the other.
You blew my mind with that, and I appreciate it.
That was something, just, you know.
No,
what blew my mind is that wife of Jeff Bezos could walk away with, hold on, quick math quiz here, half of 137 million, so that would be $68.5 billion.
Yeah, but listen, now, who are her friends going to be? Imagine coming into that much money. Imagine just fucking tripping over and landing in that much money in life. You wouldn't your brain wouldn't work right for months. You'd be so bowled the fuck over by the enormity of becoming a multi-billionaire that you probably fucking forget how to tie your shoes. Think about that. Look at these people that win the lottery and they blow it. Or these people who have a 5-year professional sports career and then they take whatever they get from that and blow it.
Wow, well that's interesting.
That means you and I could blow it in like a week.
You just gave me...
How many helicopters would you buy if you divorced Jeff Bezos?
I don't know, but you just gave me the perfect segue.
I have at least one.
You gave me 2 excellent segues to this.
Okay.
So speaking of somebody who performs as though their shoe is untied, and somebody who may only have a 5-year professional sporting career, I'd like to go back to the... Now, as we're recording this, I'm living on a 5-day glory of the Eagles' 16-15 miraculous win over the Bears last Sunday. St. Nick delivered again, and when Cody Parkey gets up there, and first they ice him. He makes the kick, and they ice him. And then it goes off again, and then off to the left, and it still looks like it's going to go through. And then...
For what it's worth,
Cody Parkey's legendary NFL career. Now, as is later revealed, the ball did get tipped. The ball got tipped. He didn't biff it.
It's changed in the stat books to a block. The statistics will say that was a blocked kick.
All right, I understand that. And he hasn't been lynched yet in Chicago, so I guess they forgive him.
People need to let this guy live, number one. And number two, if you think the Eagles are going to fingertip their way past New Orleans and have a run deep into the Super Bowl... With St. Nick, you're going to need him to be fully magical. He's going to have to break out all his St. Nick tricks, maybe even the Philly special, and then some.
Oh, we're going to have the Philly special part 2. I think it's going to involve him wearing rocket shoes at one point.
Who knows? If you're a Bears fan right now, I don't know that you're so much mad at your kicker as you probably are glad that you're still going to have a nice young quarterback there, and next season you might do better. That's how it is. You make the playoffs and you don't win. It's kind of like, meh. It's not quite the same as when your team just loses and loses and loses. So Eagles fans...
Like being like a Browns fan generally, or a Bengals fan.
Eagles fans that set their expectations that high again for this year, hey, you're not always going to get what you want. But we'll see. We'll see if you're right. Fucking Eagles fans always having to bring up that their team is in some kind of situation, like right now... as we're recording this, we're flying high.
We're flying high,
man. The Eagles
man.
are flying. Are they going to keep flying?
Who knows? All right, so what do you got over there?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about something. Because, quite honestly, without knowing, if you don't tell me about something, I just assume that I found out about it before you did. And I don't think that's the case here, but... Since we always end up talking about wrestling, regardless of if we consider ourselves wrestling people, we talk about it.
Yep. It's always a topic.
And
lots of stuff to talk about, whether you're watching the current day product, the old good old days at wrestling. When you find that's something that's happened a couple times at work recently, when you discover that somebody else is a wrestling fan.
I'll tell you, man.
And it's always good because that opens up a realm of conversation that only certain people can appreciate.
Well, and look at it this way. with entertainment now, you're just fucking bombarded. None of us are ever going to live long enough to watch these 10 million episodes of everything we want to see.
That's why I don't bother.
We're drowning. We're in a whirlpool, fucking drowning in
content.
It's like, holy shit, like, I could never sleep again my whole life, and I'd never watch everything that I earmark or that I go, I'm going to check that out next week in my free time.
That's why I am so much easier just to blow shit off. Oh, did you ever see Game of Thrones? No, and I won't.
Well, listen.
You should watch Breaking Bad. No, I won't.
It's freedom. That's the kind of freedom that you and I have because we're gentlemen of a certain age who know what we like.
I can binge on WWE Network. I can watch WrestleMania 3 and be happier than somebody who's binging on fucking House of Cards.
Do you know what I watched the other day when I came home and had no sleep and I just needed to have something on TV?
An Aqua Teen Hunger Force marathon.
Incorrect. I put on...
It should have been.
I put on WCW pay-per-view from 1990, and I forget which one it was. Wow. I think it might have been Bash, but it had Sting versus Vader for the belt.
That would have been the 92 Bash.
Okay.
It could have been. But yes, Sting and Vader.
And then
Vader wouldn't have been in WCW that far back, but they certainly had plenty of matches over the years.
92, you're right. You're right, it was 92.
It was a Great American Bash in 92.
So, but I get your point.
Shit.
And so you and I always end up talking about wrestling, right?
Exactly.
But ever since it became like this, it's no longer like, I don't know if you can look at it like an industry anymore, so much as just to say the wrestling that people know now is like, they kind of look at it like they look at the other TV shows they watch. Because they've kind of streamlined it to make it more palatable, now they do have straight-up TV shows. They got Total Divas, Total Bellas, Mike and Miz, or Miz and Maurice, whatever the fuck.
See, that comes back to, you know, as the years go on and you become a more disgruntled fan of the current product, that has actually kind of become my go-to complaint lately, and you summed it up nicely. Is that WWE is more worried about they're a content provider. You know, it's not about putting on a good Monday Night Raw or a good pay-per-view or getting you to go out and cheer your favorite wrestler at the fucking house show. It's about having something on your screen 24 hours a day. When you're watching Raw, all you're seeing is a promotion for SmackDown, and then you got the Mixed Match Challenge, and then you got the Mae Young Classic, and you got NXT, and you got NXT UK, and then you can subscribe to the WWE Network, and then you can buy some fucking t-shirts, and then you can buy the video game, and it's like...
You sound like a speechwriter for Daniel Bryan. With the promos he's given about our mindless consumption.
Shut the fuck up and get me some tofu, motherfucker.
Yeah. You know why
you motherfucker!
You know why you people are all so empty inside. But anyway, being that it is that way, I kind of feel like it's more and more unlikely this day and age that when something happens in wrestling, I'm going to have to come run to you about it, and then it's like, oh, should we put it on the podcast? Should we just get it off our chest now? Like, nothing ever really happens like that anymore. But... Right, exactly. You don't have those... something like that did happen.
Those holy shit moments that used to happen every fucking week on Raw are long gone.
It doesn't matter.
There's a holy shit moment this week that I missed?
There's a holy shit moment.
Does it involve Braun Strowman pulling the arena roof down?
No, I think the holy shit moment is coming from the fact that, like, if I like Game of Thrones and then a couple episodes suck, I can probably watch some other show that's nothing like Game of Thrones, but it still gives me the same satisfaction that Game of Thrones does. And then I don't feel like I'm married to Game of Thrones and nothing else will do. Mm-hmm. Which is how it should be. Like I said about people having too many options. So I'm curious if this recently developed and officialized alternate option promotion, all elite wrestling.
You know, I was almost
with the Young Bucks and these other guys, their buddies.
I was debating whether bringing that up during our earlier football chat because the owner of All Elite Wrestling,
Shad Khan,
is the son of the billionaire owner. You know, we should have done our research because when we were talking the other day, I wanted to figure out how this guy got so fucking rich. My money's on oil. But, yeah, the son of the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars is putting many, many millions of dollars behind the first, probably already more funding than TNA ever had, the first legitimate competition to WWE for the American Wrestling dollar nationally since WCW went out of business. So that is a huge fucking story in the wrestling business.
So what exactly? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It shook the whole radar, right?
Yeah, well, Vince McMahon's got competition for the first time in forever.
You can't get me to give a fuck about most things now, especially like I remember when we were thinking about getting cable in the house again. And yeah, a lot of that had to do with football, but the other part of it was that, you know, Alex, my wife, missed being able to watch the weekly, you know, edition of The Walking Dead.
Sure.
And truthfully, just like most other things, it's something that I had varying levels of interest in, that I could give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, which one is it today?
Yeah, you said it got real lame near the end.
It's just like anything else, man.
Tailed off, but you get sick of it.
You can't even...
That happened to me with Rescue Me. And that was, you know, that petered out near the middle end of it, but they got good at the end again.
So these guys, and including now Jericho, which is a fucking what we call a huge get, if we're going to use the local terminology.
Hey, Mr. Fozzy himself. I was a Jerichoholic in the good old days, man. Chris Jericho's a fucking renaissance man.
My question then to you is, what exactly are they going to do? Are they going to beat WWE by doing what they do better, or are they going to beat WWE by being a clear-cut, fucking full-blown, legit alternative to that type of entertainment? Are they going to do a 180 with what we expect from wrestling, or are they just going to be a better WWE with a different roster?
You know what? If you're gonna frame the question like that, and I think I'm going to answer it like this.
Well, they're not making this much of an effort to fucking sit on their thumbs.
And this goes back to what I said before. I don't even think... I mean, yes, they're competing for talent, and I guess they are competing for fans, but at the same time, I'm not sure... They're not going to be doing the same fucking thing, minus the fact that it's guys in their underwear in the ring. What Vince McMahon and what WWE does nowadays is so far fucking removed from professional wrestling, which is what we expect All Elite to be, that I feel like it's almost going to be like... It's going to be almost like when Jim Cornette started up Smoky Mountain. It's going to be like fucking old school wrestling the way you like it and the way it was.
I hope it's not like Smoky Mountain.
Well, I don't mean that as in like trying to be 1970s Tennessee wrestling. But who doesn't like a little wrestling?
Yeah, well, you just heard me. I mean, in my young days of actually watching wrestling live, I never would have fucking sat down for an entire WCW pay-per-view.
Right.
But now I do it just because it's there.
And it's historical, and it's interesting. You get to see shit you've always heard people talk about.
Well, listen, at bedtime every night, my wife is saddled up with either a Bella's show or that Oak Island mystery show on the History Channel where the guys are treasure hunting.
Okay.
So when the opportunity arises for me to just binge on some wrestling... It doesn't always have to be... Oh, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned it, too. Because part 2 of that binge, besides the Sting Vader match that I watched, I randomly went to ECW's vault because...
Woohoo! EC-Dub.
We just passed over the 20th anniversary of Taz beating Shane Douglas for the belt, and I was going to tell you, and I know we don't want to stay on it too long, but I was going to tell you that it finally stoked the coals in my brain a little bit, and I remember what it was like the last time I was actually watching somebody chase a belt and cheer for them.
Right.
And it was when, you know, Taz had been a heel before. And then now he's the face against Shane, and Shane's really waving this whole triple threat thing around. And it was more like... You got behind. You're like, I can't wait for Taz to fucking choke this guy out.
And that's what WWE used to bring. You couldn't wait to see what was Stone Cold going to do to Mr. McMahon this week. What was The Rock going to say? What was he going to turn sideways and shove up someone's candy ass?
You know, I looked up what people were saying was the best.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah, he was in that episode. The Rock was on Raw in May of 2000, and I forget which week it was, but so many people had picked this one episode of Raw as the best ever, and it was such a fucking weird episode. It had so much weird shit going on. You had The Rock out there running around, you had all these crazy promos, fucking stunts going on, crazy shit going on, Austin fucking Undertaker. It was just, the shit was everywhere.
And it was, every minute of it was fucking exciting, thrilling, and you couldn't imagine or wait to see what would happen next.
So now,
versus today's bullshit.
Well, but it was grandiose too. They were doing shit. They're like, yo, let's fucking throw this guy off a building into a vat of acid. You know, they started really. Well, so are these guys going to do that?
Well, no, they're not going to do Attitude Era.
They're not going to do Attitude Era, but are they going to just do straight wrestling matches where there's no build?
Well, that's the only thing that worries me, because you say they're supposedly going to work on this legitimate scoring, or wins matter, losses matter, and I do worry that it might veer a little too It's hard, because we grew up in an era where, you know, the sports entertainment era. You know, old school wrestling fans grew up on Bruno Sammartino and all this slow-paced bullshit.
Big John Studd.
The stuff we grew up on was not that old school.
Okay, so then let me ask you this, and then I'll let it go, because I think.
Well, yeah, because you know what you need to do in a few minutes.
What's that?
You got to plug our fucking social media.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
We are half an hour into this thing, and we say we're going to take it seriously, and then we start drinking, and we start fucking drinking. Where's your beers? Cheers. Well, cheer it anyway.
That's not what happened. What actually happened was I got so excited about everything that we have going on that I just blanked it. It's like when you're trying to remember an entire grocery list, and your brain is just going to force some shit out because it can't handle the stress. So I was so fucking excited. I'll just do it now. Because I took a few minutes, which is all it takes.
Because
because we want whoever's listening to it should be able to bitch.
Somebody is listening. Let us know that you're out there,
the main thing that people want to do in life is bitch.
We could do that for an hour every show if we wanted to.
You need to have a way to bitch you're cluing us in on what you're bitching about. And whether it's
are you trying to say that you suck in all capitals with 700 exclamation points doesn't give us much legitimate feedback or useful feedback?
Not really, but I mean,
you are bigger dickwads than Donnie Trump.
You know how it is.
Smiley face.
It all goes back
eggplant emoji.
It all goes back to that scene where Jay and Silent Bob are reading the things that people are saying about them in the online forum.
What the fuck is the internet?
And how completely incensed he gets at the responses that people are leaving, and he's ready to kill somebody.
Yeah.
We need that motivation. So,
are you encouraging people to be negative in their commenting?
No, you don't have to encourage it, because it's going to happen. I could put a picture up on Facebook that shows me, carrying a puppy out of a rescue facility, and somebody will be like, eat it! That's just the world we're in now. So social media brings in that ugliness, and that's what our Facebook and Twitter pages will be for, which you can now view. If you want to be following us, it's probably easiest just to follow us on Twitter if you're on there, because every time Brian and I put an episode up, we'll drop it on Twitter, we'll drop it on Facebook.
So what are these addresses?
And frankly, I don't care if like a flea market breaks out in the comments section on our Facebook page. If it's a bunch of people going there to sell their fucking used baby toys and shit, which inevitably happens on social media, that's cool too. Just so long as you go on Facebook, look up Shoedogg and Mike Podcast. You can also look up Shoedogg and Mike Podcast on Twitter. They're easy as shit to find, and within a couple weeks here, we'll probably have it looking a little prettier for you. You'll be able to see our... what we look like, I hope. Is that going to be a part of it? Dude, listen, it's 2019. People market themselves. We have to put our fucking mugs all over everything.
This is why I spent 15 years in radio, because nobody wants to see my gap-toothed fucking face.
You're not fooling me.
Although, admittedly, I am slim, trim, and sexy these days.
That's what I'm saying. You've been doing all this
I lost a chin, Mike.
Now you're down to 2? You're down to 2 chins?
I'm down 6 goddamn inches in the waist.
I'm over here in...
And I couldn't be down 6 inches in the crotch because I never started there.
I know that the listeners can't see this, but if you would just look at my 2.5 chins real quick.
They're hiding under your beard, so that's why you have the beard.
But they're there.
Well, they might be there, but that's what the facial hairs are for.
So, but we will put our mugs up, and yeah, we obviously want to hear from you. That's the whole point.
Can we sell mugs?
If you're... Well, we can...
T-shirts?
You know what? Good question.
Mouse pads?
I think...
Merch?
No bullshit. I think we should do merch at some point.
People might care.
People might buy merch. I mean, listen.
Well, here's the key to merch. we need to come up with some goddamn catchphrases.
Yeah, we
need some funny fucking Shoedogg and Mike exclusive copyrighted material that you can slap on a T-shirt in some goofy font.
I think we should have a back scratcher that takes advantage of how long the handle is, and we fill that whole space with text. Like, they can be different. Like, depending on, which one you order, it can have, like, a variety of shit filling that long handle space. One can say, like, who pissed on the toilet seat, And then it's just whenever you pull out your back scratcher...
Why is that not the name of this show?
Well, look at...
Welcome to Who Pissed on the Toilet Seat.
What's everybody else do? You got coffee mugs, right? You have one, obviously.
I got my Morning Joe coffee
I don't
mug.
do merch. What merch do I have?
Well,
gifts that people get from me.
We're here because we want to do this, because we think it's fun. We hope some people listen along. We're not trying to make any money. We're not naive enough to think there's any money to be had in this.
Yeah,
certainly not at this step. But,
dude,
hang around for the ride. We're gonna have some fun with this shit.
You never know.
Well, down the line,
you might find somebody in Florida who has a compulsive spending habit that just buys out all our merch for no reason. We can't stop them if they're of sound mind and body.
So there we go. Shoedogg and Mike Podcast. It's very simple. Look it up on Facebook, Twitter, this, that, and the other thing. And we'll keep you up to date on what we're up to. And you can comment to us that way as well. So I guess there's a full-blown email as well. Shoedogg and Mike Podcast @gmail.com.
Yeah, send us email anytime. If you're not a big social media person,
eventually we'll read them.
Yeah, exactly. We want to hear from you no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're being a cock about it or if you're saying something nice. If it's a pain in the ass to jump on Facebook or Twitter, then just shoot us an email. What the fuck? I mean, we don't have a hotline. There's no
not
900 number.
Well, that's a little too old school. Yeah, you talk about having an email address like I'm saying, hey, call us on your can phone or send us a carrier pigeon
Whatever
message.
you do, make sure we hear you. Shoedogg and Mike Podcast, though, Twitter, Facebook.
That's right.
Gmail.
And wherever you're listening to this, on SoundCloud, up on YouTube, hopefully as time goes on and we get a little more used to this stuff, we'll work on further distribution methods because there's so many ways to get your podcast out there these days.
Yeah.
Many applications and other mobile places that will let you download them. I mean, if you really want, I will make this offer to you right now in the interest of old school.
Ooh.
In the interest of old school.
I'm excited.
Any person, if you send me your name and address and you like it, I will send you a copy of our latest podcast on a cassette tape.
Is this a sweepstakes?
No, I want to be able to send someone a fucking tape.
Bummer. Okay, I'm in. Can I enter or no?
I mean, if we're going to talk about all the formats that this show is on, let's release it on.
No, that was
cassette.
nice. That was nicely done, though. And so housekeeping's out of the way. Was there anything else that you were burning on today?
Well, when I was looking at TMZ earlier, my initial idea, as I mentioned to you.
Why were you looking at TMZ?
Because I was digging for entertaining material. It was probably the third time I've ever typed those initials into my internet my life.
I guess you could say every time I stick my hand in my ass, I'm digging for entertaining material, but did you find any?
Well, that's where I got the Bezos story from.
Right.
But now most of what's on TMZ today, as we record this, involves R. Kelly doing nefarious things with underage girls, which that's all we're going to say on that. But I was able to dig through every rapper's opinion on that topic.
I bet.
And find this gem of a story.
How many did you ask in person?
And this fits into the I mentioned House of Cards earlier. We could talk about Kevin Spacey for a minute, but the Me Too movement, this one comes from director Peter Farrelly. Do you know who Peter Farrelly is, Mike?
Let's see. Is he Peter Farrelly of the Farrelly Brothers?
Correct.
Okay, and
so
they did
we're talking
Stuck on You and
Something About Mary.
Did they do anything with Chris Farley in it, or am I just thinking Fairly Farley?
Correct. You're mistaken.
Fuck?
They would have been post Chris Farley, but they did like...
Yeah, my brain is such a mess.
Something About Mary and...
You, Me, and Irene. Stuck on You with...
Stuck on You with Matt Damon.
Me and Irene, or whatever. That was
Carrie, yep.
That was one of probably their better ones.
So anyway, am I breaking this to you? Do you have no idea why director Peter Farrelly would be in the news?
No, is he Me Too'd?
Well, his actions, which... Not sure when they occurred. I didn't read the story because, you don't really always need to read the story. The headline speaks loud enough and at least gets you the fake news aspect of it because who needs to dig deeper? Okay. You just want that initial headline, that grabbing headline in life.
Sure.
So, what Peter Farrelly did, quote, "It makes me cringe now."
Is that him saying that?
That was his exact quote. What he did in the past... I hope so. Sorry for that golden monkey burp.
How cringeworthy was it for you on your index? Was it like super cringeworthy?
I will put it to you this way. It's something I wish I could do in my lifetime.
Well, then, I guess it's not very cringeworthy in your opinion, you sick fuck.
Do you know where my level of cringeworthy is?
And you still want people to buy your merch? What is it? No,
I want you to guess that. So what do you think that Peter Farrelly did in his past that he says it makes him cringe now?
He had sexy parties.
Yeah. It's time for a sexy party.
Didn't he? I mean, I know you wouldn't think that's cringeworthy. Especially not if you had a ship captain hat.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Go for it.
"I'm sorry I flashed my penis," said Cameron Diaz.
Oh, God. Listen, who here hasn't done that?
I'd love to do that. I'd even let her touch it if she wanted to.
I'm sure you would. You're gonna do the run by, right? Do the old run by.
Hey,
just run right past her.
Hey, I have a trench coat,
Look at
bro.
You're not even
Faking it?
Getting invited to award shows yet, and already you're gonna hashtag me too yourself right out of the business. So I wanted to check this out with you. I happened to get again way too many Christmas presents this year. People just
right.
People are too kind.
Oh yeah, it's like basically at Christmas you get your entire reading and listening and viewing list for the year filled, which I'm not complaining about. But you're right, you get like a stack of shit, and you're like, man, when am I even going to read all this? Even if it's really good stuff.
Well, and as you're aware, I have 3 kids, and when you have kids, even if it's just one, you know,
I have 3 cats. Top that.
Well, they're kids, they're fur babies. Kids and Christmas.
My one cat pisses around the house worse than your kids do.
No, all right, thanks for that info. But when when you have kids, you're prioritizing everything. Obviously, with the holidays, it's like goes without saying you're doing it for your kids pretty much. You do all that sweating that you do, and everything you do for your kids. So any presents that I get personally are just a bonus. But among all the cool shit I got this year, my sister-in-law got me some reading material for On the Toilet. Because
that's where all the best reading material ends up.
It's no secret to anybody that I love a good shit, and I like to have reading material.
You need books that can be easily digested, no pun intended, very small doses. You don't want any deep, long literature.
So just, with me, you can't resist the appeal. If you need to get away, do something fun, do something grown up, of maybe once in a while going to like a good outdoor concert or some other kind of festival, some kind of shit where
it's the way to let loose.
You can untie a little bit,
Have some public drunkenness.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk right on that borderline of getting arrested.
Maybe hashtag me to yourself without doing it, on the radio.
That's my favorite activity is being not belligerent, but certainly borderline excessively drunk in public at concerts.
But I did along the way find some festivals, and I was wondering if you'd go to any of these with me. I'll just tell you where they are, what they're called, and a little bit about them, and then you tell me if you'd want to go or not. Because I think you'd probably be down for any and all of it, but you have to hang on to your fucking pants here for a second, okay? Can I just try one?
I'm so terrified.
Let's just do one. Let's see how it goes.
I hope there's a pickle fest.
Right off the bat, Frozen Dead Guy Days, which is held in Nederland, Colorado. It is annual. It's in March. And it is a commemoration of a cryogenically preserved Norwegian who has been kept in a shed by his grandson since 1994. So basically, people no bullshit. People show up.
I believe you.
Dressed either as a Frozen or a dead character.
They dress up as the Frozen Dead guy.
And then they have a dance called Grandpa's Blue Ball. Would you go to that one with me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you said it's in Colorado, so we can get some spleefs.
Exactly.
All right.
We'll get fucking wrecked, and then we'll go to the dead Frozen guy party. Okay, next one.
Well, I wasn't expecting that shit.
That was good. Next one's called Secret City Festival. This one you'd have to go into Tennessee with me.
I've been to Tennessee. It doesn't scare me much.
Never been there. My brother likes it. But anyway, this one, another annual one. It's all about the town of Oak Ridge being like some big deal in World War II.
As in the Oak Ridge Boys?
No,
Oak Ridge?
but there was...
Oak Ridge, Tennessee?
Yeah. And there was
the Oak Ridge Boys.
Right, but there was some...
Hold on, let me see if I can bring Elvira up on here.
Wasn't there some atomic weapons being developed at that time? Yes.
Yeah, I know about in Tennessee.
So they had Manhattan Project sites in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That's the whole fucking point.
Okay. Interesting. So they weren't afraid to give all they weren't afraid to blow. They were not afraid to nuclear holocaust.
You're not letting me explain to you what the festival is, what the attraction is.
No. Well,
your job is to tell me if you would go to it. So at the end of the day, the whole thing turns into a big World War II reenactment.
Okay.
20,000 people a year usually. Right by the Smoky Mountains. You down?
No.
Okay. Next
no
one's
World War II reenactments.
Next one's called Bug Fest.
No.
It's in North Carolina. No?
You can feel free to explain it, but it doesn't sound like it has any redeeming qualities.
Okay. What about... Oh, here's one with your name all over it. The Barnesville Potato Days.
Taters!
In Barnesville, Minnesota.
They got French fried taters and hash brown taters and home fried taters and crinkle cut taters and waffle fried taters and curly cued taters and taters eaten raw and mashed taters and any more types of taters there, Mike? Scalloped taters.
Okay, what about Contraband Days?
Yes,
Pirate Festival.
That sounds fun. Explain to me Pirate Festival Contraband Days. I like that.
So there's a pirate that was supposedly buried, big treasure somewhere along Lake Charles. They've been doing this thing since the 50s. Fuckloads of people go to it. The mayor apparently walks the plank at this thing. Which I would love to see that.
Well, that's better than in Bangor, where the mayor gets arrested selling crank. Oh!
It sounds like it would be a fun time.
There's a good rhyme burn.
Looks like 100 different events. But, that's one of those things, you probably take a bus trip to it, whatever.
Hold on, where was Tater
There was
Days?
one more that I wanted to check with you.
All right, but
you were doing a bit.
I did a bit, but where was Potato Days? We got to get back to that.
You did a bit in it. I was trying to do it, and you did a bit. So what we'll do is we'll just tell you that yes, you're right about most of those names.
Does it list all them kinds of taters that are available?
Not like your Bubba Gump shrimp impersonation, but a potato salad cook-off.
Tater salad.
So you got to imagine that's got lots of different flavors in it.
I'm sure there's some potato sack races.
Yeah, see, you don't care what the Barnesville Potato Days has in store. And then the other one I wanted to see if you'd go with me is the Faux Film Festival in Portland, Oregon. Basically, it's a screening, bunch of fucking movies. But the thing that attracts people is the type of movies they pick out, and then also just that it's like a big party. So basically, they pack like probably too many people into these theaters, and it's like a party vibe.
Uh-huh.
Would you go to that?
Sounds amusing. What
if it was like all shitty movies, but we were just wasted the whole time?
Well, you have a big affinity for the B movies, more so than I do. I know that used to be a big thing for you guys. You love that.
I don't know if they're B
movies. Love that shitty shit.
They probably are B movies. Let's be honest with ourselves.
It's called the Faux Film Festival, for Christ's sake. They're not going to have Scorsese's latest.
Okay, so out of all that, it sounds like you and I are going to Frozen Dead Guy Days in Colorado.
Yeah.
To go party with a Frozen guy and fucking get fucked up in his house.
When is that? Are we going to do a live podcast from Frozen Guy Days in Colorado?
I'm fucking all for it.
Oh, my goodness.
You know me. I go back to Colorado.
I've never... Wait, you've been there? Oh, well, you grew up there in your earliest days. Yeah, but never been there back there since.
Not to visit, no.
Right.
I'd like to.
As would I.
I'd say we go to Frozen Dead Guy Days.
My cousin got married out there, and unfortunately, as the time grew nearer, they had to decide it was going to be a real small wedding, so we didn't all get invited out.
Well,
I was for it, for sure.
It's better that you found out that far ahead of time.
Yeah, right, everyone gets there, and they're like, no, man, we don't have no wedding for everybody.
When people do destination weddings, though, I always, just having our wedding that we put together was stressful enough. Think about the extra shit that can go wrong with a destination wedding.
Sure.
Your fucking dad, the groom's dad's plane had to stop and refuel. You know what I mean? It's just like...
Sure.
It could be...
it's a lot of extra planning and
people are nuts.
and not organization. What's the word I'm looking for?
So let me ask you, because
yes.
You kind of surprised me when you weren't doing bits, and you were talking to me about TMZ. How often are you on this fucking website looking around? Is that where you get your news from?
The problem is...
You get your fake news from TMZ?
The problem is when you go to TMZ...
That's why you don't know anything. You go to TMZ for it. You're like, well, TMZ says it's going to snow tomorrow.
No, I go to TMZ and I don't know anything because these fucking people that they pass off as celebrities are people I've never fucking heard of.
Who? Give me some names. Who are some people that they passed off as
Well,
celebrities?
that story I read you earlier about the guy who was trying to prove he actually hooked up with Lindsay Lohan, like that's something to be fucking proud of. And he was like a star of some reality show on fucking Stars Volume 3 network.
Was it Teen Mom 2 or something?
Yeah, they didn't even say what the story was. But I mean, it's just... I guess maybe that makes you a celebrity now. I mean, maybe being, a YouTube celebrity, if 200,000 people are watching your fucking videos every week, because I guess that does make you a celebrity in some way, I don't know. So I guess that means if 100,000 people start listening to this gobbledygook, that'll make us celebrities now, won't it, Mike?
It could.
By somebody's vague definition of the word. I mean, I guess by some people's vague definition of the word, my more than a dozen years on commercial radio would count me as one of those, but I never bought that story.
Dude, look, I found pictures from Frozen Dead Guy days. This was like the most fun thing you could ever go to in your life.
Why do I have a feeling it looks... Are they all wearing, like, Viking helmets?
Dude, this is great. Look at this
shit. Is this real?
Look, yes! You thought I made that up? It's in a book.
Well, not
It's not like somebody just posted that on TMZ or something.
Or you saw it on Fox News.
Look at that fucking picture. They are having such an awesome time right now.
What the fuck is going on there?
They're carrying somebody in a casket. And they're all wearing helmets and shit. Like, what do they have to carry somebody in a casket across, like, frozen
Yeah, it looks like they're on the
something?
frozen... It looks like Woodstock got muddy.
And that was... Here, gimme. Look,
refroze.
Look, there's another one, too. That wasn't the only one I found.
Do they sell alcohol at
It's
this
like
event?
a relay race. Look at this.
Oh, it's like a Tough Mudder, but you gotta carry a
dead person
casket with you.
Yeah,
oh my god.
One of your teammates is in a fucking... But that's how big of a deal this is.
So hold on then.
Holy shit!
So
Event schedule, FrozenDeadGuyDays.org. We're going to put that up on the Facebook page.
Oh, we're going to link to this? We're going to give these guys
You know what we're going to do? We're going to message the people that run this thing, and we're going to fucking...
So here's my biggest question
Get to know them.
Well,
and get invited out there.
Is this thing like a fucking relay race? Like every quarter mile, does the guy in the casket have to tag out into somebody else?
I don't know, but look at all these people sitting around drinking.
Well, we don't have to go to Frozen Dead Guy Days to do that.
No, but it looks like if we made the trip, we'd have a fucking great time, doesn't it?
I have no question a trip to Colorado would
Look
be
at
a
this,
great
they have
time.
like a fucking parade and shit. We're going.
That looks like a guy in a bloody KKK outfit.
No, it's like an Easter Bunny costume or something. Can you
Wow.
tell? Look at the big head on there. It's like a big fake bunny head.
That's what she said.
I think we should check this out. At the very least, we should reach out to these people. Look at this fucking shit. That's so weird. What are they carrying? Is that another big casket those guys are carrying?
Or they're dressed as clowns to boot. They got clown face paint on.
No, but what I'm saying is that a casket they have over their heads?
You know what this is? That's like the Mummers Parade on acid. As if the Mummers Parade wasn't weird enough, because it looks like it's like all these troops come up with like their own gimmick, their own theme.
It says right here that this was these guys dressed up as the clowns were entering the polar plunge. So they also do a polar plunge at this event, which makes sense.
No,
because it's called fucking.
I did the old ice bucket challenge. So anyway, what was their website?
FrozenDeadGuyDays.org.
All right, and one more time, well, we don't have a website per se, but where can you find us on the internet?
You can still look us up on Facebook. Shoedogg and Mike Podcast is on Facebook. We have a separate page for it. We have a separate account for it. You don't really need to be friends with us, but you can like the page, and then we're on Twitter. Same thing, Shoedogg and Mike Podcast. We'll probably make the Twitter will be like a notification for us. We'll tell you when episodes are up. We'll tell you when Brian took a big enough shit that he had to think about whether he needed to go get equipment to clear it out.
I ask you again, who is this Brian? So anyway,
you know who he is.
You
know him.
What you said was
Aren't you usually the one that complains about him having used the bathroom most recently?
I like how you mentioned that basically what you're saying is people don't have to like us, but they do have to like the page. That's the important thing.
Oh, dude, do you think any of these entities that are whoring themselves out actually care what people think? No. They just want the fucking traffic. That's all we want. We want people to...
I care about what people think.
I don't.
Well, then what the fuck are you doing it for?
Oh, fuck those people. Give us a thumbs up or I'll beat your fucking ass.
All
you
right.
are the ones who are the motherfuckers.
Well, that's fine. So anyway, that is pretty much... We're going to wrap up this first episode of the reboot, The Real Deal Now, Shoedogg and Mike Podcast.
Shoedogg.
We will be here at least once a month. We swear to you, our second episode coming up here in a short while. Hope you enjoyed it. Shoedogg and Mike at gmail.com. And I guess after your dramatic finish, Mike, I think it is only one appropriate moment. We do have to pay tribute to Mean Gene Okerlund, and I am not going to do it with a bad Hulk Hogan impression, but I am going to end this podcast. Mike, I'll let you have a final word and then allow me.
Very sweet of you. Yeah, I just like you, probably grew up on Mean Gene, and one of those things. there's keystones of growing up, and
he was on TV more than anybody we fucking watched as children, pretty much.
There's keystones of growing up that whatever form they take, if it's a character in a movie, a character in a book, a musician, something that you latch onto. There's ones that will not be replaceable. And Mean Gene is not replaceable. There's not some other emptiness in my childhood where I can say, oh yeah, that was the same thing for me as Mean Gene. He was
one of a kind.
and
he was a classic.
Part of what used to make watching wrestling so fun growing up was that when you were a kid and you were watching wrestling, you didn't necessarily see how bad the fucking gimmicks were. You just knew that these were full-grown men and that they were larger than life. And Mean Gene had that whole, like, gentlemanly demeanor down, but at the same time, the dude could rip anybody a new asshole whenever he wanted to.
He was like the voice of reason.
He was a real motherfucker.
Well,
you could tell by talking to him.
And that is why you say that. So, Mike, I'll let you sign off here.
Never met him.
Good?
But yeah, I'll miss Mean Gene, and I'm not going to miss you too much because we're going to try and do a couple episodes.
We're going to be back before you guys even have a chance to listen to this one. But I want to end this. We're going to quote Mean Gene Okerlund. You mentioned that he was kind of a smart-assy kind of guy, and we knew that from some of his promos. I'm going to recreate his finish. I watched it, his 2006 WWE Hall of Fame induction, in which Mean Gene Okerlund, God bless him, may he rest in peace, he's now gone. I hope he got his wish, and that is to be buried face down so the whole world can kiss his ass. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back soon.